Welcome, my dear friends. Today we shall try to communicate the significance of natural constitution in scientific inquiry, or the role of formal grounds in our inductive logic. Now, let us start with concept. Our idea or notion of something is called a concept. Our idea or notion of something is called a concept. When we estimate a relation of agreement or disagreement between two concepts, then it is called a judgment. Estimated relation of agreement or disagreement between two concepts is called a judgment. When a judgment is expressed in language, it is called a proposition. Or when we express estimated relation between two concepts, it is called a proposition. When we frame a relation or when we infer a relation among propositions or between premises and conclusion, then it is called an inference. An inference is a mutual relation among propositions or between premise and conclusion. When an inference is expressed in language, it is called an argument. When we express an inference in language, it is called an argument. Arguments are of two kinds, deductive argument and inductive argument. This is a class of HS second year on inductive logic. In HS second year, we shall study inductive argument. Now, let us try to understand parts of an argument. An argument has two parts, premise and conclusion. Premise is a part of an argument and conclusion is also a part of an argument. So an argument has two parts, premise and conclusion. Arguments are of two kinds, deductive argument and inductive argument. This is an example of a deductive argument. All men are mortal. Ram is a man, therefore Ram is mortal. In a deductive argument, we proceed from all to some. That means conclusion is less general or as general than the premise or the premises. Conclusion is as general or less general in a deductive argument. In a deductive argument, no valid conclusion can be drawn from two particular premises. So, one of the premises in a deductive argument must be universal. That universal proposition or universal premise is supposed or assumed to be true. So, the premises of a deductive argument are assumed to be true. In a deductive argument, conclusion is as general or less general than the premise or the premises. Premises are assumed to be true. In a deductive argument, if the premise is true, then conclusion must be true. If all men are mortal is true, then Ram is mortal must be true. That means the truth of the premises guarantees the truth of the conclusion. The truth of the premises justifies the truth of the conclusion. So, deductive method expresses a relation of implication. That means if the premises are true, then conclusion must be true. Deductive method is a formal method deductive method or deductive argument is a mathematical method. The conclusion of a deductive argument is either valid or invalid. The conclusion of a deductive argument is either valid or invalid. If the conclusion of a deductive argument is deduced following certain rules or norms, then the conclusion is valid. If the conclusion of a deductive argument is deduced violating certain rules or norms, then the argument is invalid. Now, our purpose is to understand inductive argument. In HS second year, you will study inductive argument. This is an example of inductive argument. Ram is mortal, Sham is mortal, therefore all men are mortal. Ram and Sham, we know about two persons, premises expressing reference of two persons. Two persons means Sham, and conclusion all men are mortal, all. So in an inductive argument, we proceed from Sham to all. In a deductive argument, we proceed from all to Ram. Here, Sham to all. Now let us try to understand basic features of inductive argument. In an inductive argument, the conclusion is more general than the premises. Ram and Sham, two persons only. Here conclusion is expressing all men. So in an inductive argument, conclusion is more general than the premise or the premises. In an inductive argument, the premises are derived from experience. That means premises are derived from observation of particular instances. We have perceived the death of several persons. Suppose one of them is Ram. So Ram is mortal. Observation of a particular instance. Similarly, Sham is mortal. Observation of a particular instance. This is called premises are derived from experience. In an inductive argument, we try to establish a relation between two instances of the phenomenon under investigation. We also try to verify the causal relation between two instances of the phenomenon under investigation. So, causal relation verifies the certainty of the conclusion. If there is a necessary relation between man and mortal, then that relation will verify the certainty of the conclusion all men are mortal. In an inductive argument, principle of the uniformity of nature justifies the certainty of the conclusion. All men are mortal. We perceived death of some persons under natural circumstances. So, principle of the uniformity of nature states that nature behaves same under similar circumstances. This principle of the uniformity of nature will justify the certainty of all men are mortal. Causal relation, principle of the uniformity of nature and causal relation are called natural constitutions. These two, causal relation and principle of the uniformity of nature. Causal relation means the law of causation, and principle of the uniformity of nature. These principle and law represent natural constitution. Natural constitution. And today we shall try to discuss the significance of natural constitution. That means principle of the uniformity of nature and law of causation in an inductive argument. Inductive argument is a scientific method. Deductive argument is a mathematical method or formal method. Inductive argument is a scientific method. The conclusion of inductive argument is either probable or certain. The conclusion of deductive argument is either valid or invalid. So these two are the basic differences between deductive argument and inductive argument. Now let us try to understand inductive argument and its parts and its premises and conclusion. Let us start with parts of an inductive argument. Generally, parts of an argument are premise and conclusion. Similarly, parts of an inductive argument are premise and conclusion. Now, my dear friends, try to understand that. You are acquainted with the term premise. Last year, you studied deductive argument, so you are acquainted with the term. You are familiar with the term premise. Now, this premise is called ground in induction. So, premise means ground of induction. Ground of induction. Premise is called ground of induction. In induction, there are two kinds of premises. In induction, there are two kinds of premises. One is called formal ground, that means formal premise, and one is called material ground, that means material premise. Two kinds of premises are there in an inductive argument, formal ground and material ground. The premise of an argument is called ground in inductive logic. So, ground of induction means premise of induction. Premises of an inductive argument are of two kinds, formal ground and material ground. Formal ground is the natural constitution and material ground is the uncontradicted facts of this equal and opposite manifested nature. Uncontradicted facts of this equal and opposite manifested nature represent material ground of an inductive argument, and there are some unalterable laws of nature. These laws represent formal ground of an inductive argument. Let us try to understand two kinds of premises of an inductive argument from the definition of scientific induction. Scientific induction is the establishment of a general means universal, real proposition based on the observation of particular instances. Based on the observation of particular instances means material ground. Based on means material ground. And in reliance on, that reliance on means formal ground. So the definition of scientific induction makes it clear that there are two kinds of premises, formal ground and material ground. Relies on two presuppositions means principle of the uniformity of nature and law of causation. So scientific induction is based on material ground and relies on formal ground. Formal ground is the natural constitution. I have defined formal ground as natural constitution. Now, parts of an argument, premise and conclusion. In inductive logic, there are two kinds of premises, formal ground and material ground. Conclusion of an induction or conclusion of scientific inquiry is either probable or certain. Probable or certain. Probability is the preliminary stage and certainty is the final stage. Now, once again, parts of an inductive argument, premise and conclusion. Premises are of two kinds, formal ground and material ground. Material ground again is of two kinds, material grounds, simple observation. Simple observation means observation of particular instances under natural circumstances, and experiment. Experiment means observation under artificial arrangement. When we observe something under artificial arrangement, it is called experiment. So, material grounds are of two kinds, simple observation and experiment. Similarly, formal grounds are of two kinds, principle of the uniformity of nature and law of causation. Principle of the uniformity of nature states that nature behaves same under similar circumstances. Nature is not whimsical or capricious. nature will behave same with respect to essence, essential behavior, coexistence or succession. Law of causation states that every event must have a cause. Whatever happens, it must have a cause. Nothing comes out of nothing, ex nihilo nihil fit. The same cause always produces the same effect. You will learn these things. Now, formal grounds are of two kinds: principle of the uniformity of nature and law of causation. There are total four kinds of premises or four grounds of induction: two material grounds and two formal grounds. Two material grounds are simple observation and experiment. Two formal grounds are principle of the uniformity of nature and law of causation. Now, in an induction, first of all, we try to establish a necessary relation between two or more instances of the phenomenon under investigation. Let us try to understand the significance of natural constitution in scientific inquiry. In a scientific inquiry, there are two stages. First stage or preliminary stage is the stage of discovery. The first stage is the stage of probability. The conclusion of an induction is either probable or certain. The first stage is the stage of probability. In this stage, we frame a hypothesis or a provisional supposition regarding the causal relation between subject and predicate. We observe material ground, that means based on death of a particular person, suppose Ram is mortal. We observe that the death of another person, suppose Sham is mortal. So observation supplies us premises. These premises are called material grounds of induction. Then we infer a conclusion in reliance on formal ground. Relies on formal ground. That formal ground is the natural constitution. Principle of the uniformity of nature and law of causation are called natural laws, unalterable laws of nature. These two principles or laws have been developed as Newton's laws. Newton's three laws represent natural constitution or principle of the uniformity of nature and law of causation. We perceived death of two persons and we established relation regarding all men are mortal. Then we rely on natural constitution. It is the formal ground of induction. In the first stage, our conclusion is called probable conclusion. That probable conclusion is called scientific theory. Scientific theory means the causal relation has not yet been proved. When a causal relation is proved, then it is called scientific law. So in the second stage, we try to prove causal relation between two instances of a phenomenon under investigation. The second stage is called stage of proof or stage of certainty or final stage. The first stage is called stage of probability or stage of discovery. Now, without natural constitution, we cannot infer a general real proposition, necessary relation between two instances of the phenomenon under investigation. The passage from some to all is called inductively. We jump from observed cases to unobserved cases in reliance on natural constitution. That means in reliance on principle of the uniformity of nature and law of causation. These two principles are called presuppositions. Presuppositions means a priori principle. Presuppositions means preconditions of scientific certainty. Scientific certainty exclusively depends on natural constitution. That means principle of the uniformity of nature and law of causation. When a causal relation is established, then scientific theory becomes scientific law. So in the second stage, we try to prove causal relation. The passage from sum to all is called inductive leap. Let us briefly summarize the contents of this class. An argument has two parts, premise and conclusion. In an inductive argument, the premise is called ground of induction. There are two grounds, formal ground and material ground. Material ground again is of two kinds, simple observation and experiments. So two material grounds are simple observation and experiment. Formal grounds again are of two kinds, principle of the uniformity of nature and law of causation. Formal ground I have defined as a natural constitution. This equal and opposite manifested nature was revealed means created and manifested prior to the revelation of finite rational beings. So equal and opposite is the a priori framework of this manifested nature. Similarly, uncontradicted facts of this equal and opposite manifested nature, such as Sirius binary system, Mercurial system, natural magnetism, Uranian system, solar system, etc., were also revealed. Revealed means created and manifested prior to the revelation, creation and manifestation of finite rational beings. So our man-made constitution, UN Universal Declaration of Global Rights, uncountable science books and science journals, innumerable research works on global science, our unanimous agreement, mutual understanding, etc., do not have any authority over principle of the uniformity of nature and law of causation. That means man-made constitution does not have any authority over natural constitution. Inductive generalization is an impossible task without reliance on natural constitution. We perceive particular instances, that means some cases under natural circumstances, and we generalize our observed cases in reliance on natural constitution, that means principle of the uniformity of nature and law of causation. However, in an argument, in an inductive argument, we do not find references of natural constitution. We find reference of natural constitution in the definition of scientific induction. In scientific induction, we establish a general real proposition, that means we generalize a conclusion on the basis of observation of particular instances. Observation of particular instances means material ground, and in reliance on two presuppositions, that means in reliance on formal ground, reliance on natural constitution, that is formal ground. So we jumped from observed cases to unobserved cases in reliance on two presuppositions, that means natural constitution. Now let us summarize. Material ground. Material ground means observation of particular instances in correspondence to reality. It has been mentioned in page 27 of our National Curriculum Framework 2005 that science education depends on observation of particular instances in correspondence to reality. Same fact has been mentioned in our inductive logic, that material ground, observation of particular instances in correspondence to reality. Then formal ground. Formal ground means reliance on Natural constitution. Natural constitution means principle of the uniformity of nature, law of causation, or Newton's laws. If a framed hypothesis goes either contrary or contradictory to Newton's laws or principle of the uniformity of nature or law of causation, that it will be vitiated by the fallacy of subjective self-contradiction and objective paradox. So in induction, we must have to rely on principle of the uniformity of nature and law of causation, that means natural constitution. So reliance on natural constitution is the main content of today's class, which I have defined as significance of natural constitution in our scientific inquiry. Man-made constitution has no place in our scientific inquiry. Scientific inquiry exclusively depends on natural constitution. Now, material ground and formal ground represent the premises of an inductive argument. Then inductively, when we jump from observed cases, sum to all, that gap is called inductive leap. In an induction, inductive leap is the essence of induction. Then generalization. Generalization means establishment of a causal relation between two instances of the phenomenon under investigation. That means generalization means to frame and to prove a causal relation between man and mortality. That means all. Establishment of a necessary relation between two instances of the phenomenon under investigation. Now, aim of induction. The aim of induction in a single word, generalization. Generalization is the main purpose of scientific inquiry. Self-contradiction and paradox. Concealment of real such as natural constitution and scientific laws. Concealment of real such as equal and opposite framework of this manifested nature, and projection and communication of global framework of this equal and opposite manifested nature, or projection of and communication of unreal. Unreal means probability or scientific theory as if real. When a probable conclusion has been projected as a scientific law, then self-contradiction or paradox will arise. Now, try to understand the existential import of principle of the uniformity of nature and law of causation in scientific inquiry. In an induction, there are two kinds of premises. Observation of particular instances represent material ground of induction, and reliance on natural constitution represents formal ground of induction. This is an introductory class. Next, we shall try to communicate chapter-wise topics, chapter-wise discussion. Maybe I shall discuss with you hypothesis and inductive methods, and Madam will discuss with you nature and kinds of induction and grounds of induction. She has been trying to communicate with you inductive logic and different concepts systematically. Next, we shall try to communicate inductive methods. Thank you.